And now the veil is getting pulled back, and people are starting to see the truth, and we coming, and we ain't stopping. So tonight on the Guillotine, I want to get into the video of Neil deGrasse Tyson on Bill Maher's show a couple of weeks ago. I've been wanting to get into this. A lot of people covered the women in men's sports little zinger that Bill Maher has at the end, but there's actually a lot of other interesting topics that they talk about on that show, and I want to talk about them with you. So let's get into it.
Donna, are we more likely to see a conservative female president before a liberal one? Oh, that's an interesting question. Okay.
I think we'll see a Democratic. We've had three. We've had Geraldine Ferraro as a nominee, Hillary Clinton as a nominee, Kamala Harris as a nominee. We will have a Democratic female president in my lifetime.
I say...
And the asteroid will not hit her. She will deflect it, and with her superpowers, things will be okay.
Okay. Can I make one suggestion?
What?
Not a vice president named Tim.
Okay. Okay.
You know, enough with a lady and a Tim.
Okay.
Remember Tim Kaine?
Tim Kaine. Okay.
Tim Walz.
Okay.
It is interesting how many global women leaders have come from the right. I mean, in Britain's now had 3 conservative female prime ministers before it had a single Labour one. The current conservative leader is a young black woman called Kemi Badenoch.
Right.
Now that's pretty amazing, I think, and it's lovely that no one really makes a big deal out of it.
Well,
Either we look at Merkel as a Christian Democrat, Indira Gandhi, Mayer, these are hard-ass women.
Hard-ass women.
And there's something about that iron lady kind of, I'm going to go to war with the whole feminine shtick that's kind of really potent in the human psyche.
Well, I think people think that a woman leader has to kind of overcompensate a little towards strength, and people are drawn to strength. Mm-hmm. Look at Clowney, you know. I mean, look at Trump.
Oh, sorry.
Really have to spell that out?
It's late.
So I think this is a great question that doesn't get brought up enough. I think for sure the first female president will be a conservative, but I think it's sort of not even the point. Like, the people on the left are so concerned about identity and if it's a gender, if it's gonna be a woman, if it's gonna be gay. How about a great president? When are we gonna have a great president on any side? That should be the argument. Of course it isn't. It's par for the course for people like this to make this the big topic. When are we gonna have a female president? Yeah. It's ridiculous. It's a non sequitur. But it's interesting that Andrew Sullivan brings up that in the UK, there's a bunch of conservative women, and that the number one conservative leader right now is a black woman. And I never heard about that. If she had been on the right, on the left, I probably would have heard about it. She probably would have been all over the news. But they don't want to bring it up when it's a conservative. And then Bill Maher's joke at the end right there when he calls Trump Clowney. It's funny. Even Donna Brazile, you can see her face. She doesn't even think it's a funny joke. She's like, bro, why are you even saying that? It's not even a good joke. Which I agree, it's not. But let's get on to the next part.
By the way, you left out Shirley Chisholm. She wasn't a nominee, but she ran for president.
She ran for president.
Yeah.
Mexico just elected a female president. We've had female presidents in Africa. It's time, folks. We know how to lead. We can build the future for everybody.
Yeah, you just got
It's going to happen.
I know, but you can't.
Next time have an actual primary where a woman candidate can prove her worth and not just be stuck in and nominated at the very last minute because you had
Ooh, they didn't want to hear that. They don't want to admit that they shoved her in there. They're gonna try to make up a bunch of excuses as to why she didn't get elected, that they've been doing since she lost. That's a big one. Very anti-democratic.
a dotard running that you wouldn't fess up to?
Well, first of all,
isn't the DNC responsible for that?
That's not fair.
First of all, we had a primary.
I don't know, but it doesn't sound good.
Joe and Kamala did win enough delegates. 14 million people participated in it, and we should not disenfranchise those Americans. So,
is it just me, or when you hear disenfranchise, you just immediately think of all the BS reasons that the Democrats try to cheat in elections? I hear disenfranchise, and that's just like code for we want to cheat and we want to do things undemocratically. And here it is, right here, former DNC chair. Same with the thing, Democrat code talk, doublespeak talk about cheating and stuff.
look,
There are
you
bigger-
saw
it
what
would have been
happened?
better.
Wait, by the way,
If
she
she was
was on a
honest-
ticket that got elected to the White House. It's not like she
No.
was never voted for.
But if you want to have a
I
good
just want you to put that out there. That's all.
sure.
She was a
People
strong,
vote for her.
good candidate.
Okay,
But
first-
you know what?
Terrible candidate. If you
107
can't see
days.
that now, when are you going to see
Okay,
it?
first of all, this
Never. That's when. They're never going to admit it. Hopefully never. But it's already been, I don't know how, what, a month, 2 months, and 2 months, a month. And they haven't admitted it. They can't admit it. Most of them. Some people have. Bill Maher can admit it, mostly. Cenk Uygur. A few people are coming around. But the diehard party people are just never going to admit it. Hopefully they don't, because then we're just going to keep winning.
so many
I
wrong.
can put my glasses on and I can still tell you I can see a leader when I see a leader.
Excuse me.
Go ahead, baby. Go ahead,
There's
baby.
been so many wrong things said here by everybody. I'd like to correct some of them. She's not a dotard. Shirley Chisholm didn't get anywhere. That's to our point.
No,
It takes a different kind.
It lays some groundwork for others later. So that's
107 days was more than enough time. That's a stupid excuse, in my view, that it wasn't enough time. If anything, our election should be like Britain and like other countries. They don't need 100 days. She was actually doing fine after the first few months.
After winning 81 million votes, Donald Trump never conceded the election.
Correct.
Okay? He continued to lie. He continued to
Yes.
fabricate. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden won the hearts and minds of the American people, as well as the Electoral College, yet they were never given a mandate to do anything. But
you
they
mean Hillary?
There it is. Can a Democrat make a good point without bringing up Donald Trump and trying to blame something on Donald Trump? She says that Biden and Kamala won the hearts and minds of the Americans. They got duped and propagandized into voting for those two people. And then those two people screwed the entire pooch, run the country poorly. And that's why we got the result that we did this time. But they won't admit it. It's crazy. And also, Bill Maher's point about 107 days being plenty of time is 100% true. Because if they would have switched her out like a month before the election, or a couple of weeks before the election, before she started doing it in interviews and completely losing any kind of traction as she had, they maybe could have won it. Because at first, like, oh yay, it's a black woman. Sometimes the black, sometimes Indian woman. She's gonna be the president. Yes. And then they were like, hey, it's been 3 weeks. It's been like 4 weeks. We haven't even talked to her. We haven't even heard from her at all. Is she gonna do like an interview or anything? They're like, yeah. She's totally gonna do like all the interviews. She's gonna be like, so interview. And then she goes interviews, and everyone's like, wow, she really is not great. We don't like her at all. And then she's just a horrible candidate. She can't admit that anything that she did anything wrong, and that she doesn't want to do anything different from what Biden did.
Hillary won.
No, Hillary
won the popular vote. So we actually have elected a woman.
Yeah.
It's just that our stupid system, the way we
well,
play the
that's
game,
that's
she
another
didn't get elected.
conversation.
But we can't say that the country, and also the votes are now finally all in for this election. Kamala Harris lost by your mustache hair. That like this much, it's so close.
Always.
So, right.
Here it comes. So there, Bill Maher goes trying to bring up the Electoral College bogus argument, saying that, oh well, if it was just elected on the majority vote, then the Democrats would never lose, which probably isn't true, because we would just, people on the right, the Republicans would just campaign differently. But that's not how it's won, because majority rule is a bad idea, and the founders knew that. So thank you, founders, for doing that. And then he says all the votes are in, and she just won by a little mustache hair. Okay, is this what a mustache hair looks like? Yeah, I don't think so. What is this, 300 and something? We demolished them because of people like this and ideas like this and horrible ideas. And now the veil is getting pulled back, and people are starting to see the truth, and we coming, and we ain't stopping.
Right.
Bill,
But
you said everyone at the table said something false. What did you say that was false?
Nothing. as ever. But the other false thing was, you know, that she ran a great campaign. She did not run a great campaign, and you're going to keep losing if you insist that she ran a great campaign.
I'm saying, look, there was no model for the campaign that she had to run. Look, on July 21st at 1:41 p.m., when Joe Biden announced that he was going to step down, Kamala Harris had to step up. Now, what other Democrat could have stepped up in that period of time?
We're not arguing about that.
All right.
We're arguing the campaign she ran. They asked her what she would do differently. She said, I can't think of anything. That's terrible.
How do we trust a party that was telling us with a straight face that Joe Biden could be president for 4 more years without any problem whatsoever? That's what the Democrats were telling us. It was a massive lie. We saw through it. Everyone saw through it.
Did you see him this week? Could you imagine if we were just starting on the next term?
Yeah, everybody can imagine it, and that is why we won.
What do you think of the fact that the gays and the Jews stuck with the Democrats? Gays voted for Kamala 84%. And Jews, 79%. It's interesting because there was so much talk about defection from those groups, and they came home. Those two groups came home to the Democrats.
Well, we don't really know how gays voted.
Well, they said 84%.
No, that's how GLBTQIA plus people voted. So that includes a whole the vast majority, 40% of that, are bisexual women, many of whom are in relationships with straight guys. So we don't know. I'm sure it was a big majority. I'm not sure including a big bunch of young women in that will distort it somewhat. I wish we could have polling of gay men and lesbians. Why can't we? Why are we now forced into this bleh of all these other...
That's right. Gays and lesbians do not like being lumped into the alphabet people mafia, okay? It's interesting that they can't get accurate polling, and they're not really sure. I wasn't aware of this. Andrew Sullivan's bringing up some great points. We don't know because they're lumping everything in there, including every single millennial and Gen Zer who is probably straight or probably straight, maybe gay, saying that they're non-binary and they want to get lumped into this thing for attention. It's bogus. The whole thing's bogus, and now it's throwing off all our statistics. We can't get no good data. Sheesh.
If you don't have polling of them, how do you present those statistics of who bisexual women sleep with? How do you even know that if you're saying we don't have polls of them?
Well, I said they were bisexual, many of whom are in straight relationships, because you actually had polling of...
Oh, you did have polling. Okay, you said there wasn't polling. I'm just trying to understand.
Well, as
I
a
have a
subsection
simple
of that,
answer.
yes.
There's a lot of polling in the gay community.
We'll take it.
Ha! Got him! That was pretty funny, Bill Maher. I'll give you that one. That was a classic joke. It was great. Perfect timing. Impeccable delivery. He nailed that one.
It's a gift. It's a gift. Come on. All right. We have a party to get to.
Can I make one more point here?
Please. You can make all the points you want.
Here it comes.
I've come to recognize that the human brain is not wired for thinking statistically or probabilistically about anything. And then I looked at the history of math. Do you realize the first time anyone took an average of numbers and figured out that that was a good idea was after calculus had been invented? So that tells me that it is not natural to think that way anyway. And
this is Neil deGrasse Tyson, once again, being from an ivory tower, thinking, implying, alluding to the fact that everyone but him and other experts and well-educated, degreed people who are part of the Ivory Tower Club are the only people who aren't stupid. And that's basically what he said. He says, people, we humans, but what he means is people who aren't him. And we're gonna see it here in a second. He's not gonna take kindly to being challenged in any kind of way.
there are entire industries that have risen up to exploit that fact, and they're called casinos. Because people say, yeah, it's due. Yeah, no, it's not due. You don't understand probability and statistics.
But again,
so in that, so that means we're incapable as a species of truly understanding risk. And this goes to like vaccines, okay? I don't want to like poke the bear here, but what I'm saying is,
the bear believes in vaccines, just being skeptical of all medical interventions, as everyone should.
well, except 99 out of 100 medical interventions, you're not saying, I need a second opinion. If you have tuberculosis, you don't need a second opinion. If you have polyps in your colon,
it's not close to 99%.
It's easily 99%.
It is not.
How insufferable is Neil deGrasse Tyson? It's not even. The points he's making are like complete straw mans that don't even make any sense. He's saying that 99% of people don't need a second opinion. I don't know about you guys, but there's tons of people that I know or am acquaintances with, or have family members who have gotten second and third opinions from doctors all the time. Like, that is such a common thing, and doctors get it wrong a lot. Malpractice insurance is like how much? It's some ridiculous amount that doctors have to pay because they get it wrong all the time, and people know that, and people get second opinions all the time. But he's so delusional, stuck in his freaking leftist world, that he can't admit something so simple, and he wants to act like he's this big smart science man, and he can't even get some basic stuff wrong, and his perspectives or his preconceived notions about the way things are either completely wrong and delusional, or he's lying. I mean, it's got to be one or the other one.
If you break a femur, you don't get a second opinion on that.
I agree, but that's not most things that happen to people. Lots of things that happen to people, and I'm thrilled that you don't ever have this happen in your life, but and I hope you never do. But trust me, most people at a certain point in their life will need a second opinion.
The second opinion, yes, but that's after you've been through 99 other.
So here he just abandons the whole argument because he knows that he lost, and he knows that he's making no sense at all. Tuberculosis and breaking your femur, two of the most rare things that ever happened to anyone ever. And he's using that as his argument. So he completely abandons it, and he tries to bring up some other bogus point. It's ridiculous. Watch this.
I'm trying to put credit back to doctors, where our life expectancy is 3 times what it was 150 years ago. And everyone before 150 years ago
but lower than the rest
organic. And half of them died before they were 35. Yeah, science matters.
Of course it does.
But sometimes you don't sound that way. That's what worries me.
So he completely changes his argument, and he says he's trying to give credit back to doctors. Well, if doctors didn't do what they did during COVID and silence people and talk about the science, then maybe they wouldn't have lost their credibility, and their mouthpiece over here wouldn't be trying to give some credit back to them. Yeah, okay, great. We had a lot of breakthroughs in modern science, and we saved a lot of people. But they're screwing the pooch on this, and they're losing all credibility, and that's why people want to get second and third and fourth opinions even more so than they did before. And he's talking about, science matters. He's talking about the science, okay? Maybe somewhere deep down inside there is some real science that's still left in him, but it's a light that's dwindling ever so slightly every day that he continues to be a leftist mouthpiece.
Well, actually, you're the guy. You're the guy who doesn't understand why the NBA team can't beat the Lakers. So I don't know. You're supposed to be.
And this is the moment we've all been waiting for. His face at this point is hilarious. He can't. He knows that Bill Maher got him so good, and he just has like this. What, man? What you even talking about, man? I don't know what you mean by that. And then he's gonna go on and try to like weasel his way out of it, and then they're just gonna cut him off. This is the best ending to this segment of Bill Maher. Check this out.
You're supposed to be the scientist, and you couldn't even admit that. And as far as medicine goes, I could talk to you this about all day, but again, we do have a party to get to. But this is not your field. You're not a doctor.
No, but I'm a scientist. Excuse me.
Yeah, that's
his ego is so destroyed. You could just it is palatable the amount that he is so offended that Bill Maher would try to belittle him in any kind of way, including mentioning that he's not a medical doctor. And he just says, he's gonna say, oh yeah, but I know probability and statistics. It's like, yeah, so does anybody who took 6th grade math understands that, okay? He's such on a high horse. He's so loves the smell of his own farts, but like not in the literal way that we all do, but like in the metaphorical, hypothetical way where he thinks that his stuff don't stink. That's this guy.
No, that's not a doctor.
No, hold on.
That's not a doctor.
I'm a scientist who knows probability and
when
statistics.
I get a goiter on Uranus, I'll call you.
No, don't call me. But when it's time to assess risk, that's something that comes out of the world of probability and statistics, and scientists are trained in that. And so there's a documentary on PBS.org right now that talks about what it means to accept a risk or to, like in a vaccine, if you don't want to get a vaccine, that's like walking around with a baseball bat, fine. But if you hit someone with it, that's bad. There's a social contract to not infect other people.
He's into his science moment. I'm ready to drink wine.
Thank you, everybody.
Well, that's going to do it for this one. I really enjoyed making this one. This one was a lot of fun. Bill Maher is pretty funny. He's funny to watch. Neil deGrasse Tyson's mental gymnastics, also very classic and fun to watch, even though he used to be, coming from a science background myself, used to be somebody that was cool, that was, promoted science and STEM stuff. But then now this woke mind virus took over half the country and he got roped into it, and he's trying to, stay relevant and doesn't want to get canceled or something. And he just, I don't know if he truly believes it. I'm sure he's probably just lying, because he probably knows that men are not women and women are not men, and that women are obviously not as good at strength style and speed style sports as men are. But here we are. Hopefully they keep it up, because we're just going to keep landslide winning it. So thanks. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this one. And you can click right here somewhere where there's going to be another video. And also there's a subscribe button. Click that button. Also the videos, watch the other videos, subscribe buttons. Also like down in there and comment about something funny, not funny, whatever you want.
Right wing and all clear. Censorship ends here. Stand tall and fight bold. Guillotine, Janine's unrolled.